Hello. This is not a planned vlog. In fact, this is more recon for a bigger project of a place that I've only discovered, say, in the last couple of years that's now fascinating me, which is Waverly Beach Park. It used to be called Erie Beach. Location of one of Ontario's, and in fact the world's, premier theme parks back in the early turn of the century, 1900s. And now we're walking down the remnants of what's left of this park, which surprisingly there's much hidden within the overgrowth and new nature that's reconsumed this area. As I just look at my feet and notice that I'm on, in fact I believe I'm walking on the original promenade. As you can see, some stone just creeping out of the dirt of what you would normally think is just a normal path through the woods. That said, there's still some major trees and old growth here, as it was a natural promenade. But you can see a lot of the new growth here, which I believe would be the old mixed with the new trees in this area. You can get a good idea of what I'm talking about this old stonework and path that we're on now. And we are just sandwiched in between two small subdivisions. And the main reason why we're here, however, at this time late in the year, is because we wanted to get a good look at this place before it officially gets turned over into even more housing, as you can see here. Didn't think the work had begun, but it's already gone. It's fully begun here. The area that we are now, I'm not sure, but I believe was the location of the original hotel and racetrack. We'll get a better idea of that in a moment, however, as we go down this non-pathway. But you say non-pathway, we have stones that definitely date from the park era. Ooh, there's a tree that's just gone down. I didn't even capture that. I wish I had. We can see a lot of this now. There's actually a lot of stonework and stuff over here. In fact, there's no questioning where we are right now. This is the original platform for the train station. It's fascinating. This is without question then the actual promenade that was much hailed back in its era. One of the finest in the world, which would have led out without question where we are now. The former Erie Beach Park. I feel like it's appropriately named Erie Beach, as there's just something about this place. I haven't been here until now. Something about it, just lack of history, to me makes it feel somewhat, I think you know what I'm gonna say, somewhat haunted. There's a ton of stonework and stuff to explore. There was even more back where we were, so I think before we actually go and explore the actual shore where the majority of the remnants of this park are located. You can see on the left, however, the original pier of which the ferries dock to allow park guests from Buffalo to travel to the park. Right in front of us is some stonework from what would have been one of the boardwalks, if not the massive outdoor boardwalk. We're gonna know more once we get out there, however. For now, we go back inside. I don't think they're expecting our arrival here, as those trees are going down, and even more, this area is being uprooted and repurposed. The roller coasters are long gone, that is for sure, and there's a sad history behind one of them. In fact, that area where they are building or tearing down trees is, in fact, for sure. In fact, they are right over by the old Tumble Bug ride. They're not gonna like us filming over there, but I'm gonna go have a brief look if I can, just to see what I could see of this without disrupting what they're up to here. Well, we are in the middle of the Tumble Bug ride area, which does not look like it's marked for destruction. At least I hope not. It's a fairly large ride. All these trees. So we do have markings actually on the ride structure, so it looks like this might be the last time I see these stones in place. Because clearly there's going to be some removal, as evidenced by the trees coming down. 100 years, all to be lost soon. I feel like this has been turned into some sort of temple-like structure. It's pyramid-shaped. It makes sense. Thus it's being saved. And I was just at a park 2 weeks ago with a working version of this ride from the same era. I was about the same age, that being Kennywood. Farewell, Tumble Bug. I'd say my timing is perfect because I wanted to kind of capture this place as it's transforming. Almost, it's being swallowed by development. And as I just look around here, I suddenly see small details that just creep out of the woods here. This is very fascinating if you like theme park history or amusement park history, because as you can see below me here, is a circular pattern and shape. I'll get a better shot of that. I know there was a remains of a helter-skelter ride and an electric fountain, but I don't think this is either of them. This may be the electric fountain. I think it is actually. Yeah, you have. I think that's the central fixture, or one of the central fixtures here. Yeah, this must be it, because I have more of that here. which would make sense. This would be the kind of the center area. It's been so long, and you can kind of get an idea how old this tree is. It's grown right in. Nowhere near as creepy, however, as this tree over here. I don't know if you can see inside. I don't even want to do that. Look at me. I go to haunts all the time and I'm too afraid. I literally just look behind me because there are people behind me, but yeah, this is a chilling place. It looks like this is sort of an archway, or was like an archway to get somewhere, an entry point. On Google Maps, this place looked a lot smaller than it is in person. That is a big first impression I'm getting here. It literally is full of random things that you just discover in here. I have no idea what this is, but it is clearly from that time, as it's concrete and formed a specific way, just hidden here in the trees. Kind of a nice entryway. Looks like we're actually getting, well, old meets new, but new is also old, as that's the end of the proper promenade here. There's a promenade to our left on the lakeshore that's going to lead to a newer public park. Or I think this area is actually properly protected, which is why it doesn't have a park built into it. So on the fringes of the land, they can build. And what we have here is the remnants of the Helter Skelter, the old slide. It's also much smaller than I thought it would be. So you get an idea of what they're doing here, actually. Erie Beach Park, which we're almost at, which is kind of weird because the whole park actually is right in front of us and we're clearly in it. But I guess there's just like a newer, maybe they're going to rename it Erie Beach Park, because I don't think it's officially named that. It's Waverly Beach at the moment. We'll find out in a second. Future development area, which they say future development sort of ambiguously. Clearly that's for housing. There's no question about it with the way that that street infrastructure is in place. We are here. So you can see those two natural trails. So obviously that's all protected. I don't know how that's going to be in the gray zone. So maybe that's going to be a paved over section eventually when they do that. I don't know still the layout of the land here. Obviously we found a lot about like what's in this area. I don't know what was originally here, other than I believe, as I said, the hotel, which would make sense because that's where the pier kind of is. And then next to the hotel would have been the racetrack. And then the roller coaster should have been somewhere in this area from what I understand. So we'll try to go over there later. But now we're going to go down into Erie Beach Park, if we haven't got there yet. We're on the other side now of where we entered, which leads us to the aforementioned Erie Beach Park / Waverly Beach Park, which we'll find out in a moment. But you can kind of see it's fascinating where old meets new. They literally just built the curb right up to where the promenade kind of begins for the old park. And then all these stones are clearly been repurposed from structures that used to be here. It's fascinating to me how much concrete and stonework that they just quickly put together to build these places back in the day. If you're into theme park history and amusement park history, like I said, I'm not even going to cover it all, as there's just stonework for many old rides here. I guess if you like foundations from the past too, you might like coming down here. guess the whole point of having a park named after a beach is to have an actual beach. Thus, I think we found Erie Beach. There's also some signage here, so we'll get a little bit of a idea of the place. There's a history that isn't available on the internet, and sometimes is more available on the signage in the town of which you've come to visit. But sure enough, here we go, Erie Beach Park. All right, from my understanding, a little bit of update from that signage is that we're kind of on the location of where the original Erie Beach Hotel was located, as it was on this side of the park. And then the scenic railway, as I was correct, is on the north end, or it's hard to even have a sense of direction here, the east and west end for the park. Left side, left of where we're looking here, is where the original roller coaster was. This is indeed Waverly Beach Park. Kind of the end of our point of interest here. So we arrive at the beach itself, in the perimeter of the original Erie Beach Park. As we look back on the area of which we just left, in the woods, it is really kind of nice, actually. Very, as beaches go, I'd say it's pretty much as good as you get in this area. And it's certainly cleaned itself up a bunch, because it doesn't seem all that polluted. The water seems fairly fresh looking to me. This water is going out to the lake. Who knows about the science behind that? We approach the other side of the beach here, and obviously the main area of Erie Beach that remains. So we get onto the outdoor promenade, bandstand, swimming pool, among other fixtures, and then a giant pile of concrete. Not really sure where this is displaced from, actually. It doesn't seem like there's anywhere nearby that they would have cleared out. Maybe this is, yeah, this is probably concrete from the old hotel area in the distance, being the park, when they put the new pavement down, possibly. They just dumped it here. Has it been here this whole time? It looks like it's kind of more fresh than that. I have questions. And on the other side, you have this massive walled-in area that we can go up to the top, but we're going to see if we can get there a more convenient way. As we re-enter the woods. Halloween season is over. It's November 1st, but it still feels like it here. Doesn't look as menacing when you go down that path area. Perhaps that is the new promenade replacing the old, which is why all those rocks are over there, that concrete. You better not forget to explore the pool, however, so let's go have a quick look over at the pool structure. I will admit, this is kind of creepy. Okay. That is creepy and wild. We will not be going exploring down there today, I'm afraid. Sorry, intrepid viewers of mine. It's crazy. So it's just a concrete, there's a hollow structure that just goes all the way down. And a mandatory disclaimer, this channel does not endorse this following activity. We are assuming our own risk in so doing. This is not structurally sound or approved for traffic. Maybe I'm in here for good. Kind of a crazy little urban exploration. As you can see, the pump house that we just came out of, the structure of which is here. The town of Buffalo just behind. Well, it definitely was a massive pool. I'm not so sure how good I feel about walking on this concrete right now, but we're giving it a go. This would be the shallow portion of the pool, which doesn't seem that shallow to me. It was all just water pumped from the lake. It's kind of weird. Why would they have to have a pool? But I guess there was a reason for such. Would be remnants of the old light fixtures that line the promenade, which lends proof of the fact of where we are now. This being right next to the pool, this is no doubt the original entryway for the pool itself, or welcoming point. This rebuilt pathway that we're on now was the original promenade in the area that we were before. That was the midway itself that we were wandering through, which was definitely clear, but it makes sense why it was a little bit more meandering than, say, this clearly straight on path from the lake and the pier to the hotel on the other side. Just a wee bit of urban exploration as we wrap up this vlog. Unplanned entirely. As I said, I was planning on just coming here to get a better idea of this place so I could do a documentary on its history. and I found out a lot more than I was planning to. In fact, I've spent more time here than I might have spent if this place was actually still running, oddly enough, as I'm just fascinated by the history of it and just documenting it for you all. So who knows what we'll discover as I go into a historical deep dive and a wormhole to find out more about this fascinating place that we just don't have enough information of. Lake Erie Beach Park, or Erie Beach Park proper. This tree is so creepy. It reminds me of the poltergeist tree. Is it possessed? From the other side of the pool now, a stairway. You can see that. Steps that lead down towards the sea. It's still here. Advertised as the largest of its kind at one time in the world. You can almost still feel what this place was like at one point from this perspective, imagining people dancing under the stars into the evening from the band shell that used to be located right ahead of where you see now. This would have been where the original bandstand was located, playing out to people dancing, looking back onto their homes just over on the other side of the river slash lake. It really is sad. This is the closest that I think I've been to anywhere preserved well enough to give you an impression or a proper impression of what those days were like. And really, it's fascinating to me. It's even shocking to believe that this is now a place that's 100 years in the past. Even in my youth, it seemed like it was so long ago, but now it's becoming its own Roman-like ruin of days gone by. It is actually very big and vast. I couldn't imagine what it was like having a bunch of people, like easily 1,000 or more people on this promenade. And now these trees that are, themselves look like they're at the end of their lives, long since had reclaimed it. See another light fixture, one of the original light fixtures, and even some of the metalwork and decorative items. And here we have, in the shadow, a buffalo behind it, a structure which sadly I didn't make it to in time in 2020 when it originally collapsed, that lasted in and around a century. That would be the original platform for the rocket ship ride, few of which still exist today. One of which is in Blackpool, however, that I've been on by a different manufacturer. Sadly, the platform collapsed in 2020 due to weather. As over those years, it was a much treasured site along this boardwalk and evidence of the past. See the old promenade structure? It has long been disused. It doesn't actually lead to where the passengers originally would arrive from their ferries that we're going to now. You can't actually go down the entire thing, or most of it, since it's long since collapsed. You can see the original entry point here. And then this little area here represents where you would originally have entered Erie Beach Park 100 years ago, as the gentleman just told me. Yeah, long time ago. Was not built to last. Not really sure what happened to the promenade, because clearly some newer sections collapsed, and I guess they just decided not to rebuild it. You can see that they built the old, or the new up top of the old, so maybe that had something to do with it, and they just decided to tap out and say that's far enough. You can see, unfortunately, it's part of this mixture is some of the old columns from the original promenade there as well. No shortage of history and adventure here at Erie Beach. We head back into the woods of where we started our journey to end it. Just a final look at the construction area here as we wrap it up here from an impromptu vlog here at Erie Beach. It's been quite fascinating, and I can't wait to find out more about this place, to give you more history about it, as I'm definitely going to do and share in a video to come.